Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Group podcast and YouTube channel. Coming up today, I'm going to do a user-provided request. Someone asked me a while ago to rank my top 5 concerts of all time, so I've got that coming up right now. Hey, it's Russ, and as we continue on with the new direction of the channel, I'm going back and getting some of the viewer requested topics that I may have missed over time. One of which was the one I'm going to do today is my personal top favorite concerts of all time. I've been to thousands of shows and seen some of the biggest names in the history of music. So for me, this was like splitting hairs, and I think there's going to be at least a couple of surprises on here. But overall, if you've watched the channel or listened to the podcast, most of these names are not going to surprise you. Coming in at number 5 for me is Guns N' Roses, but one show in particular that I saw, because I've seen the band in excess of 20 times, and really the best overall performance I think I've ever seen from the band was April 9th, 2016 in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. This was in the very infancy of the reunion between Axl and Slash and Duff. And it wasn't just that Slash was back. There was so many other things that came into the concert for me. Like Axl had broken his leg, and he had borrowed Dave Grohl's throne from when Dave Grohl broke his leg. And we still put on a great show. He was in top form vocally. Slash and Duff were playing on all the Chinese Democracy songs that had gotten released while they were out of the band. All the way across the board, easily makes its way into my top 5. Number 4, we're going to move on to some heavy hitters now. I got a chance to see Prince 4 times total before he passed away, and the last show that I saw him do at the Fox Theater in Detroit, also on April 9th, but a year prior in 2015, was, I don't want to say far and away the best Prince show that I saw, because all 4 of them were great for different reasons. But this one was just a marathon. It was a near 3-hour performance. He hit so many different things that I wanted to hear and things I didn't even know I wanted to hear. The backing band that he had at the time, Third Eye Girl, were wildly impressive. And this comes from a person who's a big fan of The Revolution and the New Power Generation. So many great backing musicians Prince has worked with through the years. But those 3 ladies absolutely killed it that night. So Prince at the Fox Theater in Detroit, April 9th, 2015. The next one is, unfortunately, the only time I ever got to see Michael Jackson in concert, but it was really something. I always wanted to see him again after this tour, but I'm very glad that if I got to see him once, it was on this tour. And I saw him at the Palace of Auburn Hills, just north of Detroit, October 26th, 1988. And it was pretty much at the height of his creative power. So you had all the hits from the Jackson 5 era, the Jacksons era, Off the Wall, Thriller, and then a heavy amount on Bad, which is either my favorite or my second favorite MJ song. Plus, it doesn't matter how many times you see something like the Moonwalk or the Smooth Criminal Lean on video, it does not compare to seeing it in person. It was really something incredible. So the top 2 concerts that I've ever seen myself are extremely related, because one person was in the band for a long time. I saw Pink Floyd 2 nights in a row at the Pontiac Silverdome in just north of Detroit, and that was July 14th and 15th, 1994. The first show was great because I got to see Pink Floyd in concert for the very first time ever, but the second show absolutely was amazing because they had switched things up, and that night they did the entire Dark Side of the Moon for the first time in 19 years at that moment. Now, many people watching this video might be like, well, yeah, they released that on Pulse. Yes, but that whole second half of that tour, where they were doing the Dark Side of the Moon every night, started at that second show at the Pontiac Silverdome on July 15th, 1994. So that's number 2 for me. Coming in at number 1, absolutely hands down. It's my favorite album of all time. It was the guy who wrote it that I got to see. And that was when I saw Roger Waters do The Wall in October 24th of 2010. I did get to see the tour twice. I saw it another couple of years later. But that night at the Palace of Auburn Hills, getting to see Roger Waters do that show front to back in its entirety, and in some ways I would say the way it's meant to be done, with the full wall being built and all the projections, but in some ways it was infinitely better than you would ever expect it to be. There was the upgrades and everything that they were able to do between the time that Pink Floyd did the original Wall tour and Roger did that some 30 years later was just stunning. So that for me, easily my top 5. In these videos, I always say, hey, the comments mean the most to me, but something like this, absolutely. If you were at any of these shows by any chance, if you saw any of these tours, your top favorite concerts, it doesn't have to be a top 5. You can just tell me your favorite concert of all time. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoy it. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button, but please make sure to get involved in the comments, and I want to hear from you on your favorite concert experiences. As I always say in these videos, thank you so much for watching.